I wanted to give a little mention to Brendan Rodgers, because he's been out in Saudi Arabia being announced as the new boss of Al-Qadsiah. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but he was with a familiar face today, the one and only James Bisgrove, who I think is the CEO out there. He was the man at the centre of Rangers' stadium debacle last season, for anyone that can't quite remember. But Rodgers out in Saudi Arabia. How could you forget? It's not much of a surprise to see him in Saudi, is it? I mean, we'd kind of heard whisperings. You can see there John Kennedy with him as well in the background.
Yeah.
His press conference, Keith, is tomorrow, where he's sort of formally introduced.
Unfortunately, I don't think the Scottish press are going to be able to make it over there in time.
Well, our pal Gianni in the comments, I've lost it now, but earlier on said, I believe Mick Gannon's on his way over. And Mick's probably sitting and watching thinking, if only. But do you anticipate Rodgers saying much about Celtic departure?
I think he'll address it. He'll need to address it in some way, shape or form. Are you going to get chapter and verse from him on his version of the events? I doubt it. I think that I've been very surprised that Brendan Rodgers has kept such a low profile. It makes you wonder, because Brendan never shy of talking, not about himself, and his reputation was absolutely lacerated by Dermot Desmond. So you wonder, is there non-disclosures? Is there some sort of legal thing hanging over this, which might mean? I mean, even at the very basics, and especially managers in England, they usually go through the Managers Association down south, don't they? Yeah. And they'll put a statement out, which the lawyers go through, and it's all ticked off, and so that it's not actionable in any way, shape, or form. But that's almost always the way that they do it down there. I thought at the very least Brendan Rodgers would do that. Obviously, I contacted him. I would have been more than happy to sit down and put his version out there, because I think the Celtic fans would want to hear it for themselves.
Oh, definitely.
And I'm not sure that we'll get that at a press conference in Saudi Arabia, where, I'm not too sure how fanatical the Saudis are about the situation at Celtic, and I'm not sure that they're doing sack the board protests over there. So,
no, but I just thought you summed it up there, Keith. I thought the way that he was torpedoed and eviscerated by Dermot Desmond. I get managers leave clubs all the time. It's part and parcel of the gig. But I just thought that was kind of personal. And maybe he'd want
to have... personal?
Well, it was very personal. And he'd want to have some sort of retort. He doesn't break an NDA, but,
It was astonishingly bad.
No,
it was outrageous to treat a manager who's had so much success with Celtic. Whether you like Brendan Rodgers, don't like Brendan Rodgers, nobody can dismiss the success that he brought to Celtic in terms of trophies and silverware.
He's a Celtic legend.
For him to be treated like that going out the door was a scandal, an outrageous act. And yeah, very much you would think that Brendan Rodgers would have been really bruised by it and very keen to level it out a little bit by giving his side. The fact that he hasn't, and that he's kept his own counsel during that time, that sort of tells me something. It tells me that perhaps legally he's feeling not very inclined to have his say for whatever reason right now.
Yeah. Paul in the comments says maybe he's saving it for his autobiography. Maybe he is.